They say there's no place like home. So a sixth straight here at Eastfield. Can the Dragons finally get their first home win? Or will that losing skid continue and Oneonta pushes onwards up the PGCBL East Division standings? It's the Glens Falls Dragons and the Oneonta Outlaws, and it's here on our brand new Glens Falls Dragons YouTube page. Welcome inside the broadcast booth of Eastfield alongside Luke LaRose. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, and Luke, before we get into today's matchup, we have to go back. Yesterday, the contest with Sauger East down at Cantine Veteran Field canceled. But the game before that, one-hit loss. Back-to-back losses now for the Dragons.
Not a great way to look at things. Obviously, winless at home. Oneonta winless on the road. So that's a big deal. One team's going to get their first home win or first road win of the season. We're hoping Glens Falls gets its big-time home win tonight.
You mentioned both these teams. Glens Falls winless here at home. Oneonta winless on the road. And for as much as Glens Falls has struggled this year, so has Oneonta. Just 2-7 on the season. And for a team that also has a lot of potential and a lot of prospects, it just hasn't really panned out early in 2025.
Now, still a lot of time left in the season. Time is starting to run out, though. We're going to have to see how things go. Obviously, Glens Falls still searching for that big-time home win.
A big-time home win is going to be tough with a lineup that has not necessarily hit the ball well, but has found their way on bases and picked up a couple of key wins this season. Again, you look at that 2-7 record, or you look at that the 2-7 record, but when you look at what they've been able to do at their home turf, that included a win over this Dragon squad back on Tuesday. So a little bit of revenge looking for both these teams. But we get set for our national anthem here, so we'll step aside for just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere as we get ready for the Dragons versus the Outlaws.
America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Who's ready for some Dragons baseball?
We're back here at Eastfield after a wonderful rendition of the national anthem by our very own Billy Floyd. But we come back up here in the broadcast booth as we get ready. Thank you guys all for tuning in, whether that's on our Facebook page over at the Glens Falls Dragons, or that's right, a brand new YouTube page. We're live right now on YouTube. Make sure you go check us out. Nice little bit easier. You can watch us on your television now, Luke. You don't have to stick to the phone. Maybe the iPad, whatever you're doing, your kitchen laptop if you're making some dinner tonight.
Yeah, definitely pull us up on the big screen. I think it's worth watching us on the big screen. Maybe even surround sound. You can hear Nate's and I's voices. A big, beautiful Dolby Atmos surround sound if that's what you got at home.
We can make sure that you're covered completely throughout everything, whether that's maybe you just want to listen to our voice and it's a little easier to do that through your AirPods through YouTube instead of Facebook. And either way, we've got you covered on Facebook, we got you covered on YouTube. We also got you covered with the starting lineups in today's matchup. First, we got to go through the visiting Oneonta squad. Leading off, it'll be their shortstop, Matt Carrera, followed by their second baseman, Brendan Connolly. In the 3-hole is Jack Clark. He'll be out in center. And then hitting cleanup, a big catcher spot, in Ian Wirtz. Hitting 5 is Zach Rowe. He's out in left. Jamison Balich is hitting 6. He's over at first. Dane Richards is in right field. Thomas Woodridge is over at third. Hugo Conehurst is in the designated hitter spot. And then rarely, like you see the Dragons roll out every week, they've also have an extra hitter in Connor Waiting. Rare to see that 10th hitter, Luke, but for a roster that's trying to formulate some offense, it'll give you a chance to have an extra bat in there.
Extra bats always help. Wallace has used it every game this season, I believe.
Used it every game, sometimes valuable, sometimes not. But defensively, a little bit of a change for this Dragon squad. We'll start when you look behind the plate. It's Ryan Jones. He's back there. Brendan McLaughlin's been pretty solid, but a little reset for the Dragons squad. Around the infield from left to right, it's Enrique Diaz at third, Michael Sweeney at short, Christian Mote at second, and then Nick Galello at first. This real strong start of the team, but no Gino Savoca in the lineup. The change comes in the outfield. Out in left field, there's Ian Gallagher. And then in center, the new guy, Tyree Jackson, getting his first game here at Eastfield. And then over in right is Travis Schro. So a new center fielder who's hitting leadoff for this Dragon squad should be interesting to maybe add some depth and some speed to the top of the lineup.
And he is my player to watch. In 23 games last year at Hudson Valley, he hit .378, 7 home runs, 26 RBIs, 14 stolen bases. Good mix of speed and power for the guy who's going to hit leadoff in the bottom half of the inning.
It's not his first collegiate game. Was playing over in the NECL, the Northeast Collegiate League, before he came over here. The first pitch from Xavier Garcia is well outside as we get today's contest underway here at Eastfield. As Xavier Garcia gets that ball on the mound, one of the few lefties for this Dragon squad, as his 1-0 pitch misses upstairs again for ball 2. And the first outing of the year that we saw from Garcia was stellar. He striking out opponents left and right, really had command of all his pitches as he leaves that one also upstairs. But then the last outing looks similar to how these first 3 pitches did. A lot of free passes and a lot of walks.
Just kind of lost command for his everything. That last time out, Garcia's got a nasty, nasty breaking ball.
We saw it almost there, but it missed a little high. So Matt Carrera will take his base on balls after just 4 pitches. And not to cut you off there, Luke, but that's kind of proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
Usually that breaking ball has been solid, and even in his last outing, but sometimes he leaves it up and around, and when he gets too fancy, it results in those 4 pitch balls.
If that breaking ball is on, it is damn near unhittable.
A pitch that has quite a bit of both vertical and horizontal break from the location. As Garcia's got his first base runner, and the first pitch he throws to Brendan Connolly is upstairs. He started this game off with 5 straight balls.
Obviously not what you want to see.
With him being a lefty, though, got a good look at Carrera over at first. As Garcia comes set, Carrera dances on the base paths. Delivers, that one's also up. So 6 straight to start the day for Xavier Garcia. And if I'm this Outlaws hitting staff, the bat's not coming off the shoulder till he proves he can hit the zone.
No. Glens is trying to limit base runners by limiting walks. So far, they're just about leading the league in bases on balls to start the year.
The 2-0. There's that breaking ball, finally gets one across. First strike of the day comes a batter and a half in for Xavier Garcia. You mentioned the Dragons leading the PGCBL in walks. They're the first team to hit the century mark in that stat. Usually that's a good thing, not so much. In comes Enrique Diaz on third. He's trying to protect against the bunt. They check on Carrera at first.
Yeah, obviously you want to be the first team to hit the century mark in other stats and not walks.
For a team, too, that has struggled offensively at the plate, a combined 4 hits over their last 2 games. As Carrera's on the move on that pitch, the throw down beats him in time, but he gets his hand in there safely. So a strike on the batter, Brendan Connolly. Makes the count 2-2, but not before Matt Carrera picked up an extra 90 feet and moved his way into scoring position.
Great jump. Close throw by Jones. Carrera, just barely legs it out.
Throw was a little off center from Jones, so Sweeney had to go over and grab it. That allowed Carrera to get in there. The 2-2 is chopped on the ground hard over to the second baseman, Christian Mote. He delivers to Galello at first for the easy 4-3 out as Carrera moves up to third.
Now batting number 27, the center fielder, Jack Clark.
So just like that, Oneonta's got an early scoring opportunity. A runner on third with one down here in the top of the first. Jack Clark comes to the plate. As the first pitch is outside. So far this year, Jack Clark, he's one of the better hitters in this Outlaws squad as he watches that one low. He's hitting .286. He's got 3 RBIs on the team. But the real stat that jumps out, how about his 6 stolen bases? That's 2 more than anybody else. And he's yet to be caught so far this year as well, as that one misses high for ball 3.
Another stat that jumps off my page is the team stat for Oneonta. Only a 194 average so far through their season.
It's been a struggle at the plate for sure, but for a team that is outside, that one's going to result in the second walk of the inning. But for a team that is got an opportunity against one of the weaker offensive teams in the PGCBL, they need to capitalize. And so now there's going to be an early mound visit as Ryan Jones comes out to have a conversation with Xavier Garcia. And again, Luke, not to harp on it too much, but this looks eerily similar to the last time that we saw Xavier Garcia in a Dragons uniform.
Yeah, Garcia just no command of anything. That breaking ball, that fastball. I see some life out of maybe a cutter, but it's elevated way too far up in the zone. The Outlaws see that all day.
The last time Garcia pitched, at least here at home, was back against Amsterdam last week. As the first pitch is drilled out into left field, it's going to get down for a base knock. Carrera's going to score with ease. And just like that, one pitch later, the Outlaws, they're on the board.
Just a well-placed hit for Wirtz, and that pitch in the zone, but just Wirtz got a good chunk of that line driver.
Ian Wirtz picks up his second RBI of 2025, and he keeps the lineup moving. As now in steps Zach Rowe as he watches the first pitch in there for a strike. The 0-1. There's that breaking ball, misses way too far inside.
So far for Garcia, like we said, the command just lacking. Obviously, great movement on that breaking ball. Just can't seem to find the zone.
The 1-1 goes back to that off-speed pitch. Again, same location inside, so the count draws 2-1.
He's really trying to work the inside of the plate, trying to be a little bit finessey with his pitches. Finessey is a word.
Trying to paint around the corners instead of going at these hitters early. The 2-1 is that fastball blows it right by Rowe.
Need to see a bit more of that. Get aggressive. Don't try to paint the corners and be pretty with your pitches. Just need to fill up the strike zone.
Trying to do something that hasn't been able to do really a ton this season. As the 2-2, both runners are on the move. The throw down to third, in time but bounced in the dirt. Gets away from Diaz at third, but not far enough for the runners to go. So the count draws full. Both runners advance 90 feet on some stolen bases. And now Zach Rowe has got a prime opportunity, a full count with 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 down. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. That ball was at his neck. But it still picks up the first K for Xavier Garcia.
Is the kind of pitch we need to see from Garcia. He's got some good heat on his fastball. He's a really good pitcher if you can put it all together.
In steps Jamison Balich, who would also love his second base knock of this season to come right about now. He watches the first pitch outside. But Balich, so far, he's 1 for 18. He's got 5 walks on the year, so one of those wouldn't hurt as well, as that one misses well upstairs. But part of this bottom half, or really just kind of second half of this Oneonta roster that has really struggled. As Balich takes a big cut there, comes up empty-handed.
Noticing Garcia really wants to work that right side of the plate, so in on lefties, away from righties. If he puts one over the middle, Oneonta's having a hard time finding that. That one fouled off right down the middle, as I was saying.
There's 11 hitters in this Oneonta Outlaws squad that are hitting under 200 so far in 2025. One of them has played in 1 game. The rest have played in 2 or more. As that one is watched upstairs to make this count fall. Ryan Dio, head coach of the Dragons, thought that one might have been in there. And big out for Garcia. The 3-2 pitch. That one's upstairs for ball 4. So now the bases become loaded with Dane Richards stepping into the plate. And again, Richards, one of those players that has really struggled to start 2025. How about 3 for 25? All 3 of his hits were singles. Has driven in just 1 run this year as he fouls that one off straight back. The better news, if you're Dane Richards, is that he has walked 4 times. So another walk here couldn't hurt. But if you're Xavier Garcia, this is the kind of guy that you want in front of you to get out of this jam. As that one's popped up, this one will get out of play. And now the count's easily 0-2.
Yeah, 8 strikeouts in his 25 at bats. That's second on the team behind Kazuhara. Strikeout prone. Garcia definitely needs to work that strikeout here.
The 0-2 fouled off to the left-hand side. Straight down over towards the Outlaw bullpen. So Garcia will reset here with the bases juiced. Clark on third, Wirtz on second, Balich is on first. The 0-2 from Garcia. That breaking ball in there for strike 3.
What a pitch.
And just like that, Xavier Garcia gets out of the inning as clean as possible. But that doesn't stop Oneonta from picking up their first run of the game. They lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of this first. We're back here at Eastfield as we enter the bottom of the first, and Oneonta is in front of Glens Falls, 1-0. Couple of walks from Xavier Garcia set up that one run that came across, but now you've got the Dragons who can respond, and they're used to being in a little bit of a hole as they kind of always seem to work themselves in, but a couple times this season we've seen them work themselves out. Tyree Jackson steps into the box to start the day for Glens Falls. He watches that first pitch well low for ball one. Jackson, the new guy in this Dragons squad, he's only played in one game. That was back against Oneonta on Tuesday, as he watches that one also low for ball two. In that game, Jackson didn't have his best day. He went 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and struck out once. So still looking for his first hit here as he takes a cut at that one, dribbles it over towards the shortstop Carrera, who struggles to field it and doesn't pick it up at all. So Tyree Jackson's quick speed puts him down the line, and we'll see how that one's waited to get scored. And you see it's going to go down as a base knock for Tyree Jackson. Big thanks to those wheels that he's got there. So now an early base runner, and we'll see if Jackson can use those wheels to get himself maybe a little bit closer to home. Hasn't attempted a stolen base so far this year. As the first pitch to Trent Jenks is outside for ball one.
Yeah, Jackson's got 14 stolen bases and 23 games played last year at Hudson Valley Community College for the Vikings.
Jackson's on the move now, though. That pitch outside bobbled by Wirtz behind the plate. So, speak of the devil, Tyree Jackson picks up 90 feet and works his way to second after the stolen bag. And now with the runner in scoring position, not a better hitter that you'd rather have up than Trent Jenks, because this guy leads the Dragons in batting average. He's hitting .385. He's only got 2 RBIs this season, as he watches that one outside for ball 3. The good news, though, is that of his 10 hits, 2 of them are doubles. Could use another extra base hit here.
Definitely. The guy on the mound for Oneonta, only 4 2/3 innings of work over the course of the season, so...
First pitch in there for a strike.
Not much experience on the year for him, but only gave up 1 earned run in those 4 2/3. Really efficient. Instead of 4 2/3 innings across 2 games.
The 3-1 is popped up in the air in front of right field. It's going to get down and in front of the right fielder. Jackson will take his way over to third as Trent Jenks reaches safely. And just like that, it's back-to-back hits for the Dragons with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
I think this is the best start we've seen for him all year.
Certainly a surprising start, not one that the Dragons are used to. Usually it takes them a little bit to get some momentum going before they're able to pounce. So in steps Aiden Gallagher, another hitter that's having a lot of success, hitting .350 so far this season. Also has 2 RBIs. He's drawn 7 walks as well. As the first pitch he sees is grounded through the infield and into left. Jackson will come home to score easily. And just like it took 1 pitch once there was a runner on third, it takes 1 pitch here, and we've got a tie ball game. It's 1-1 with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Just a great kind of piece of hitting for Gallagher, able to shove it through the hole. Picks up the run, ties up the ball game.
And what makes this a little more impressive, in my opinion, Luke, as both runners are on the move again, and Jenks is tossed at third. He didn't slide into third.
No.
Because Woodridge, the third baseman, was off the bag. Ryan Dio is furious. Looking at Trent Jenks, who's walking back to the dugout like, what are you doing?
Just a big time mental error for Jenks. That's all it is. Got to slide hard in every one of those plays.
So now there's one out here as Andrew Gabriel lines one into the outfield. It's going to get down for a base knock. Dio is sending Gallagher around, and he's going to score in there easily. This game has gotten absolutely crazy.
I think the shortstop, Carrera, could have got to that ball, but not the case. He just kind of watched that one float over his head. I thought there was a little bit of miscommunication on that Gallagher hit to right field. One of those players definitely could have picked that up.
It's interesting because so far today, the Dragons have 4 base knocks. They've had 4 hits over their last 2 games, and we are not a third of the way through this first inning. As the 1-0 pitch is lined back up the middle, over to Connolly at second. He flips to short, delivers a strike to first, but it's in time. Didn't look like it was in time at first, but it doesn't matter. So a double play from Connolly to Carrera to Balic ends a very quick bottom of the first, but not before the Dragons jump back on top. They lead this game 2-1 as we head to the second inning. A hectic bottom of the first ends in favor of Glens Falls. They lead Oneonta 2-1 after the first inning. And it was 4 consecutive hits from Tyree Jackson, Trent Jenks, and Gallagher, and Andrew Gabriel that led to the 2 runs. And really, if Trent Jenks wasn't thrown out at third, it probably could have been more, Luke.
Probably could have been more. I don't want to jump off on a limb. I haven't been to every game, but that was definitely the best inning of Dragons baseball I've seen all year.
One of the most consistent of just straight hits after hits. In steps the 8th spot for this Outlaw squad, Thomas Woodridge. He watches that first pitch high for a ball.
Now the question is, the big question on everyone's mind, I know you're thinking it at home, can Garcia lock in and deliver a quality inning? Let those hot bats get up and continue to rake.
The 1-0. It's hit on the ground over towards Enrique Diaz and off his glove into left. Woodridge rounds first, thought about going to second, but a nice corral from Gallagher out there. And Luke, we had mentioned coming into today, Enrique Diaz back over at third. Diaz has made a couple of mistakes defensively for the Dragons so far this season. So it was a little surprising for us to see that despite he only has 2 errors, hasn't been able to collect plays like that in 2025.
Yeah, so that one wasn't scored in error. But we've definitely noticed that with Diaz, and I know it came as a shock to both of us when we saw the lineup sheet a little earlier today, and we saw Diaz sliding back at third. They've used him as a pinch hitter, and hopefully his timeout is just let him work on his game a little bit more and get a little bit better.
One of the better hitters, as they're going to check on him. A late call, but he gets back in there safely. Galello confused, so is Xavier Garcia. And really, it's been some back and forth calls from the field umpire, Dave Holzer. He's out there. Aaron Bushy's behind the dish for the Dragons.
Yeah, so the question with Diaz has never been they're going to check up on.
And they get him this time. Xavier Garcia doesn't need to. A great move from the lefty strands Thomas Woodridge over there at first. And it's a big out number 1 to erase that leadoff single.
Yeah, like I was saying with Diaz, the bat's not the question. Is can he get better defensively? If he can get better defensively, I think he's going to be a really, really good ball player in the future.
The 1-0 to Hugo Conehurst is in there for a strike.
Connor's a little old school. No batting gloves.
Good observation there. No batting gloves from Conehurst as he watches that breaking ball, almost nails him, gets his back foot out of the way for ball 2.
No grip on that either, and it kind of looks like he's holding it like maybe you'd hold your driver with your pinky and your pointer finger interlocked. That ball is fouled off into the concourse.
Some hitters do that, but maybe it's time to change if you're Conehurst, because his 154 batting average this year has not led to a whole lot of success. Out on 6 strikeouts as that one's bounced in the dirt. Count is now full. Yeah, his 6 strikeouts, that's second on this team in those 13 at-bats that he's had. So he strikes out about half the time that he comes to the plate. The 3-2 pitch, right on cue. Strike number 3 to Hugo Conehurst brings up the 10 spot in Connor Waiting.
Now batting number 10, the extra hitter, Connor Waiting.
And that run production seems to have given Xavier Garcia a little bit of confidence. He now got his 3rd strikeout of the day as the first pitch to Connor Waiting is inside. But now you talk about picking off a runner at first, and then your offense is creating some productive runs. That one also misses inside. It's got to give you confidence as a pitcher to go out there and say, let me throw it where these hitters can get it, and let me challenge them.
And it's working because a guy like Connor Waiting is waiting for his first hit of the year. That ball's a strike.
Waiting for his first hit, he certainly is. 0 for 12 here in 2025. He's played in 5 games. He struck out 7 times, has walked 5 times, as that one is outside, might walk for a 6th. He does have a sacrifice fly to his name, however, so can put the ball in play, as that one misses well upstairs, and the lineup turns over for Oneonta. So now in steps Matt Carrera, who started the top of the first off by getting on base. He would come around to score, thanks to an Ian Wirtz base knock. So Waiting at first, the pitch, while upstairs.
Waiting is waiting at first. His name is Gold. It's not Gold, it's Waiting. But you know what I mean.
The 1-0. It's lined out into foul territory in right field, and he'll get it out of play over by the Dragons' dugout.
Swarm of Little Leaguers going and chasing for that one that landed right in the middle of them.
Field of Dreams Day here at Eastfield. Talk about the Little Leaguers down the right field line. How about a couple of the Oneonta bullpen arms just laying down out there in the open bullpen here at Eastfield. The 1-1 nips the outside corner for strike 2.
It's a beautiful day. I mean, it rained a little bit while we were here setting up earlier, but it's been a beautiful day for 95% of the day.
It has been quite nice. It's 78 degrees here in Glens Falls, and temperature is just now starting to drop despite the humidity as that one misses outside.
Yeah, definitely warm in here. Inside of our good old broadcaster's press box.
Supposed to be thunderstorm warning till about 9 p.m. tonight, but other than this large cloud over center, nothing so far. The 2-2 is outside for ball 3, and again, that humidity has just been absolutely killer today. 70%. Feels like you're walking through mud outside. So
yeah,
all the air conditioners have been on full blast everywhere here in the northern part of New York.
You can feel it.
Garcia comes set, checks over at first base. Easily. Waiting gets back.
Wish we had an air conditioner here. That would go miles and miles.
Garcia comes set. The payoff pitch is a breaking ball that was just too high upstairs. So now there's going to be runners on first and second with the middle part of this Oneonta lineup to the plate. Brendan Connolly comes to the dish. He grounded out to second his first time up. Was able to move the runner over that eventually came around to score. The first pitch, it's high and outside.
Well, this inning hasn't been perfect for Garcia. It's been a little bit better. Control's been there. Just not painting around the corners as much as he was before.
Garcia just 1 out away. That one runs well inside, almost nails Connolly. And count becomes 2-0. Garcia checks on second and delivers a breaking ball. That one lined into center field. Jackson had to come in a couple of steps, but his quick speed moved his feet right underneath it. And he growls it for out number 3. So despite a couple of walks in the bottom of the second, they result in nothing. And the Dragons, they maintain their lead. Rare to say that in 2025. It's 2-1 Glens Falls as we head to the bottom of the second. We're back at East Field for the bottom of the second, with Glens Falls leading Oneonta 2-1. A hectic bottom of the first, followed by a could-have-been hectic top of the second. Xavier Garcia keeps it clean. Now the Dragons looking to add more. The first pitch to Nick Galello is popped out foul. Out of play.
Yeah, that inning probably not as short as you would have liked if you were the Glens Falls bats, but good to keep runs off the board, which Glens Falls has struggled with throughout the season, and maintaining leads.
The 0-1 is bounced in the dirt.
Despite the one hit, Oneonta wasn't able to score and tie the game up or take the lead, so you'll take that.
Rare water for Glens Falls to have a lead. Now they need to capitalize as Galillo watches that one bounce in the dirt again. For an opportunity to put on more runs for an offense that really was a thrown runner away from really punishing Oneonta. The 2-1 is upstairs. Count becomes 3-1.
Yeah, for Glens Falls, runs have come at a premium. And for Oneonta, they've really struggled, especially on the road. Try to put this game away early.
The 3-1 nicks the outside corner for strike 2, so the count becomes full. Ryan Dio the head coach for the Dragons, has kind of had this consistent stance with his arms crossed. He almost never looks happy. And yet his team is leading early as the 3-2 is popped up, foul off into right-hand territory, but it'll get over the fence and out of play. Now he's kind of getting a little into the game, and this is rare territory for Ryan Dio.
Yeah, Dio's loose. He's moving around. He's excited. He's clapping. He's yelling.
Pretty stoic in his statements in his tenure, but now he's kind of getting into this game a little bit. The payoff pitch to Galello is drilled out to deep left field, back at the wall, and you can kiss it goodbye.
Let's go!
Nick Galello sends a moonshot onto the road. In insurance, count it, add it. The Dragons, they lead 3-1 in the bottom of the second.
Smooth criminal plays as he rounded third to home. Big shot.
That is home run number 2 for Nick Galello here in 2025. As the next pitch to Travis Stroh is well upstairs.
Glens Falls is riding the wave. The wave of what? The wave of momentum.
Again, can't reiterate the offense being stellar. Stroh takes a massive swing at that one, but comes up empty-handed. Again, this team, over its last 2 games, had just 4 hits and scored 0 runs. Today, they have 5 hits and have scored 3 runs. And we are technically just an inning through this ball game.
When was the last time we've seen them score back-to-back runs in back-to-back innings, if at all, this year?
It has been quite some time here on the broadcast. We'll have to do some research to find that one as Stroh nails it through the infield for a base knock. And this offense is cruising.
That ball had base hit written all over it. Another very good at bat, long at bat, deep at bat for the Glens Falls team.
Working their way to these at-bats usually means you'll get pitches that you want to see, and base hits will result. In steps Christian Mote, who's moved his way up the lineup a little bit today. He normally is in that 10 spot. Today, he is up a little higher as immediately Stroh's on the move. No throw from Wirtz behind the dish. So Travis Stroh will grab a stolen bag, and now there's a runner in scoring position. And Luke, you said it once, we'll say it again. This Glens Falls team looks night and day to how they did just 2 days ago.
2 days ago, I don't know if they woke up and they had a balanced breakfast, they got 8 hours of sleep or what. That ball is way outside from Dugan. And there's going to be a little bit of a mound visit. Different look, energized. I can feel it here. I don't know if you can. Ryan Dio could feel it.
It's a completely different environment. The offense seems patient but also poised. They get a pitch that they want, they're going to hit it. I mean, that's certainly what Nick Galello did. He absolutely tattooed that baseball. One of those that, from our vantage point, looked like it was gone the whole way, and happily it did leave. But
that ball had home run written all over it. Had a few questionable calls down that left field line in the past, but
Cody Meyer has been on the wrong side of those calls. As Stroh's on the move again. A throwdown from Wirtz at third is off the hands, and Stroh is going to come home. A failed pickup from Carrera at short, and the Dragons steal another run.
What a play by Stroh. Good heads-up play, too.
Great hold from Christian Mote at the plate. Wirtz made a little bit of an errant throw to Woodridge. And Stroh picks up a second stolen bag down to third, and then the error allows him to score. The 3-0 to Mote is in there for a strike. The 3-1, that one's well outside. And so now the count. And now there's a runner on first. Only No outs here in the bottom of the second. The Dragons lead Oneonta 4-0. In steps the catcher, Ryan Jones. And Jones so far has kind of been in this consistent rotation with Brendan McLaughlin and Joe Haynes behind the dish, as the first pitch he sees is bounced in the dirt for ball 1.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with platooning your catchers, especially want to get everyone kind of even work throughout the course of the year. But this Glens Falls team, they're playing electric. Baseball is fun when you're winning.
Jones so far this year has played in 4 games. As he watches that one in there for a strike. He's hitting .222, but that's only because he's had 9 at-bats, has those 2 knocks. That one chopped over to the shortstop, Carrera. He fields it cleanly, goes to second. A weak throw over to first is not in time. So the Outlaws get the force out with Mode at second. Jones beats it out at first. So you add it out to the board, but nothing else really changes. And it's a big first out if you're Asa Dugan. As in steps the 10th spot in Michael Sweeney. Sweeney watches the first pitch outside for ball 1.
Still only 1 out in the inning.
The 1-0 bounced in the dirt, just gets away from Wirtz, but he keeps it in front of himself.
Hey, there's a rainbow out in left center. I don't know if you guys can see that at home, but stare out past the warehouse in left center. There's a rainbow looking back towards downtown Glens Falls. So that's pretty cool.
The 2-0 upstairs for ball 3.
Sign of good luck for this Dragons team.
It is quite a thick rainbow too. Not many rainbows I've seen with that width here, and I know you can see it clean on the stream because I'm taking a look at it. As the 3-0, it's outside for ball 4. So now the lineup will turn over with 2 runners on and only 1 out. And Tyree Jackson is who really started the run in the top of the first.
This is quite a pronounced rainbow in person.
So Jackson started this game off with a single, added a stolen bag to his tenure, and then came around to score. He watches the first pitch outside for a ball. And there's some life moving in this Oneonta bullpen, because the day for Asa Dugan so far has been a struggle to say the least. The 1-0 is bounced in the dirt. Count is 2-0.
Definitely in his limited work, I thought I saw some promise from just the numbers, but maybe not. Maybe this Glens Falls team is just luck of the Irish with that rainbow, trying to find the pot of gold.
The 2-0 popped up to center field. Weakly hit. Underneath it will settle Clark. He gets it easily for out number 2 and no other movement from the base path. So the F8 is out number 2 with Trent Jinks now in the lineup. And Jenks also had a base knock back in the first. He ended up getting caught, though, at third. Didn't slide on a steal attempt. That's about all that needs to be said there. The first pitch he sees is lined into the right center field gap, and that's going to get down. They're going to send Jones. He's going to come around to score, and they're going to hold up Sweeney at third. A 2-out double from Trent Jinks brings home a 3rd run here. And the Dragons, they lead 5-1. And just like that, there's going to be a conversation for Oneonta, and Asa Dugan's day is done. A brutal outing here at East Field, as the Dragons have just poured it on. They lead 5-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. We're going to step aside for a couple of seconds, get this new arm for you, but don't go anywhere. The Dragons, they're dominating early. We're back here at East Field, where the Glens Falls Dragons lead the Oneonta Outlaws 5-1 here in the bottom of the second. They absolutely tattooed Asa Dugan. His day is done after an inning and 2/3. He gave up 7 hits, walked 2, struck out no one, and he left 2 runners on the bases as in steps David Denton, who so far in 2025 in 3 appearances, he's got a 12 ERA, giving up 4 runs in 3 innings. The first pitch that he throws into Aiden Gallagher's inside for a ball.
I mean, completely different look and feel to this game than past home games.
The 1-0. This one chopped out into right field. In comes Richards. He settles underneath it and brings it in for out number 3. So a quick work for David Denton out of the bullpen. Keeps the damage at a minimum amount, if you can say that. It doesn't matter, though, because Glens Falls, they lead by 4. 5-1 as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. We're back at East Field, and no, the score bug, it does not deceive you. Glens Falls leads Oneonta 5-1 here in the top of the 3rd. Xavier Garcia, his offense, they've gotten him some run protection. Now can he go out and keep it? First pitch breaking ball in there to Jack Clark is a strike.
That's that breaking ball. What a pitch. Shutdown inning for Garcia is what we're aiming for.
The 0-1 is another breaking ball, nips the outside corner for a strike 2.
And he is feeling it. He's feeling the buzz that his offense gave him. He's in command right now.
And a big cut comes up empty-handed, does Jack Clark. How about K number 4 for Xavier Garcia?
3 straight breaking balls on that at-bat. All 3 fell off the table for Clark. Fooled Clark.
So now in steps Ian Wirtz. He had a single that brought home the sole run for Oneonta back in the top of the 1st. The first pitch he sees is a fastball popped a mile high out into left field. Gallagher settles underneath it and corrals it for out number 2. Quick work for Xavier Garcia here in the 3rd, as in steps Zach Rowe.
Rowe plays his college ball at SUNY Oneonta. Plays his summer ball in Oneonta for the Outlaws.
A little hometown for Zach Rowe as he watches the first pitch bounced in the dirt for ball 1.
The Oneonta Red Dragons had a pretty decent year for baseball this year. Went to a couple games. I go there.
Rowe went down swinging his first time up, but now has worked himself into a 2-0 count. The 2-0. That one's upstairs, and count is now 3-0.
You want a fun little knickknack about the Red Dragon's mascot? There's only 2 in the country. Both SUNY schools, SUNY Cortland, SUNY Oneonta.
Squares the bun, a breaking ball. Fooled. Wow. Disgusting pitch that looked like it was going to nail him. Instead, bends in for the zone as the 3-1 pitch the exact same, and Xavier Garcia has gone from 3-0 to 3-2. He's making quick work. Come settled. And the payoff pitch. You could bet it was one more, but this one's fouled off to the left side.
He is a magician with that breaking ball.
It may not look like it has as much movement as it actually does, but would love to hit that behind some hit tracks to see what the actual numbers are. The 3-2 once again. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Another foul ball, pretty much same location for Rao. And same result. It's the 3-2 once again. If you know Xavier Garcia, it's probably coming once more. This time a little bit further, either inside or out. I'd guess at the inner half. The 3-2. There it is. Popped up to center field. Tyree Jackson ranges back, but gets underneath it for out number 3. Garcia keeps it clean. And just like that, Glens Falls can get those hot bats swinging once again. They still lead this one by 4 as we enter the bottom of the 3rd. A clean top of the 3rd means the Dragons bats can keep on hitting. We enter here at East Field with Glens Falls in front, 5-1. And in steps up the middle part of this Glens Falls lineup. It's 4, 5, and 6 led off by the DH Andrew Gabriel. The first pitch that he sees is low for ball 1. Gabriel, in that first inning, had a base knock, but then was on the poor side of an inning-ending double play.
Way inside.
Count becomes quickly 2-0. Is the first full inning of work for David Denton. Took over for Asa Dugan as that one's grounded over towards the 3rd baseman Woodridge. Throws cleanly to Balich at first, and they get Gabriel easily. So the 5-3 putout brings up Enrique Diaz, who is the one that hit the inning-ending double play. But it's trying to go the other way, and he's got a bat that's good enough to hit about any part of the field anytime he wants to. He watches the first pitch breaking ball in the dirt.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier with Diaz. The problems are his defense.
Made a couple of defensive mistakes and definitely cleaned it up as that one almost nails him, gets out of the way just in time.
But yeah, like you said, really good hitter.
A couple of those defensive issues cleaned up, but not all of them as he watches that off-speed pitch in there for a strike. It's the couple of plays like the one that happened back in the first where the ball just bounces off the glove. As he drills that one again over towards the second baseman, Connolly. He delivers to Balich at first, and it's 2 groundouts for the Dragons here in the bottom of the third.
Now batting number 18, the first baseman, Nick Galello.
This inning kind of going a little bit quicker than the last field.
Well, now in steps the big man so far today. Nick Galello had that leadoff home run last inning. He is not going to see another fastball, I can assure you of that. What he will see is breaking balls well above his head. The 1-0. A little change up there. It just dropped below the zone. Count is 1-1. It hit Galello there in the box, so he asked for time just to walk it off. But he seems like he's prepped, he's ready. So he steps back in there with a 1-1 count and 2 down here in the bottom of the third. The pitch. Runs inside, almost nails him. The 2-1. That one's popped up a mile high. Straight out of play here into these nice bleacher seats. You got some fans running after it to bring it in. A couple of the little leaguers want it, but a nice young fan has come up and corralled that and says, nope, I'm keeping it.
Billy corralling the ball. Billy
The
possibly
2-2 is fouled off well out of play.
The venerable Billy Floyd has given that ball to a young fan. Such a nice thing to do.
So the count remains 2-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the third. First true slow inning for Glens Falls as the 2-2. That one's chopped foul off to the left-hand side. Couple of fans here hanging along the Outlaws bullpen go running after it. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. A big K for David Denton. Keeps this game right where it's at. As it stays 5-1 Glens Falls. We head to the top of the fourth with the Dragons looking to keep their lead. We're back here at Eastfield alongside Luke LaRose. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. The Glens Falls Dragons lead the Oneonta Outlaws 5-1 as we enter the top of the fourth. Xavier Garcia is going back out there for his fourth inning of work. Seems like standard when he's on the mound, regardless of how his day's going. He's got to face the 6, 7, and 8 hitter. Starts with the first baseman, Jamison Balich. That pitch is in there for a strike. Start this inning off strong.
That last pitch, Garcia's only his 60th pitch of the game.
He was nearing 50 there in that second inning as that one bounces away from the catcher Jones. But it was nearing 50 back there in that second inning. A really clean third. Puts him more back on track here in the fourth. Balich walked his first time at the dish. Only player to not record an AB so far. He fouls that one off well out of play towards the parking lot. Counts 1 and 2.
Don't know how many pitches to let Garcia throw, but he's definitely setting himself up to go deep in the game. Looks like Jake O'Connor's just kind of getting loose out there, maybe as a bit of an insurance policy, but
The 1-2. There's that breaking ball. That one connected on late, and that ball go out of play towards the Little League fields.
if I'm Ryan Dio, I'm not too worried about it right now in terms of Garcia's longevity.
Garcia comes set. The 1-2. It's popped up a mile high. Is going to get out of play and over towards the bleacher seats. So we'll redo this 1 and 2 again.
Ball bounced kind of high on the concrete. Came down with a lot of energy. Science words.
The 1-2 from Garcia is chopped on the ground, foul to the left side. Fielded a little awkwardly over by the Outlaws bullpen. Trying to field it without a glove. Took a tough hop. Pitchers aren't used to fielding ground balls, so it's understandable they make those mistakes. The 1-2. It's in there for strike 3.
What a pitch.
Jamison Balic goes down looking a little confused. The ball almost hit him.
That might have been a little bit generous from our home plate umpire, Aaron Bushy, but he went around. Or it clipped the zone, I should say, apparently.
But it's the 5th strikeout of the day for Jamison Balic. So now in steps Dame Richards. He was one of those 5 Ks so far. As he watches the first pitch outside for ball 1. There's that breaking ball. Nips the high and inside corner. Count evens at 1 apiece. That one lined into center field, and it'll get down for a base knock. So the Outlaws potentially putting some offense together here in the 4th. Dane Richards picks up a 1-out single to bring up Thomas Woodridge.
Remember, Woodridge was picked off on first in his first at bat.
He was picked off on first after getting a base knock to start the 2nd. And Garcia's got a pretty good move there on the mound. Helps being a lefty. The first pitch to Woodridge is that breaking ball chopped foul. A second redemption for the Outlaws bullpen, and a second failure on the pickup.
Good thing that doesn't count for anything.
Only in Banana Bowl.
Unfortunately, we're not playing Banana Bowl.
The 0-2. This one's lined out into left field, but it's going to be brought in by Aiden Gallagher. Stayed up a little too long for Thomas Woodridge. And the line out to left is the 2nd out of the bottom or the top of the 4th.
And the lights just came to life here at Eastfield.
Now there's a conversation from Ryan Dio, and Xavier Garcia's day has come to an end. That pitch count total we mentioned could be
71.
nearing. He gets to 71 here today and leaves the Dragons in arguably their best spot of the year. They lead the Oneonta Outlaws 5-1. And we'll step aside for a couple of seconds to allow Jake O'Connor to warm up. We're back here at East Field with Jake O'Connor taking over on the mound for Xavier Garcia, who was excellent through 3 2/3 inning. Gave up just 3 hits. He did walk 5, but he struck out 5, 3 of which who went down looking. Only gave up that 1 run, and if this base runner strands, it stays that way. O'Connor's first pitch of the game is in there for a strike. And that first pitch is to Hugo Conehurst, who's the designated hitter. He's got to face the 9 and the 10 spots potentially, as his second pitch is in there for strike 2.
We've seen O'Connor a lot. He's been one of the better relievers on this Dragons staff, and this is exactly the script you want to follow for Glens Falls. Quality start, play Garcia, give it to your best relievers, lock this game out.
O'Connor's 0-2 is upstairs for ball 1. You mentioned him being efficient. Well, efficient is definitely described when you look at a 2.7 ERA in 6 2/3, giving up just 2 runs so far, and he's walked only 1, the big kryptonite. The 1-2, it's outside.
Yeah, so like I said, definitely the script you want to follow if you're Glens Falls. Just hand it over, keep digging in that well of quality relievers, put this game away, secure that all-important first home win of the year.
He is a pitcher that likes to pitch to contact over those 6 2/3. He's got just 2 Ks. So will allow the hitters to actually hit the ball as they do just then. Up the middle. Luckily, Sweeney's going to grab it, try to flip to second, but it gets over the head of Moat. So Jake O'Connor does exactly what he wants to, allows the Outlaws to hit it. But instead, Richards is going to reach safely on the little bit of the overthrow. So they call it a base knock. And now there's runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, that ball just kind of coming on Sweeney quickly. A lot happening on that play. Got a little worked up, threw it a little high.
Sweeney did a good job to make sure he got over there and at least corral it. As the first pitch to Connor Waiting is fouled off straight into the fence.
We saw them working on those types of plays early in the game, or earlier in the day while they were warming up. That one just not executed perfectly.
Waiting drew a walk his first time up back in the second. The 0-1 bounced in the dirt. The 1-1 from O'Connor is outside. The 2-1. It's chopped over to the third baseman, Enrique Diaz. It's grabbed in fair territory. Nope, it's grabbed in foul.
Yeah, it was slightly drifted foul. I noticed you were looking down at the bullpen. I think they're counting 50-50 tickets.
Even if they are, Ryan Dio was down there himself.
I cannot quite tell what they're doing. Some sort of paper in a bucket. I don't quite know.
The count's now 2-2. Runners on first and second. The pitch. Just outside.
I think it's baseballs.
Either way, Ryan Dio was down there taking a long conversation with the bullpen, and was more wondering if the concerns on O'Connor's wildness was concerning him, as that one runs inside and is ball 4. So now O'Connor has loaded the bases.
Obviously not ideal. Yeah, the conversation in the bullpen was not about O'Connor. It was about whatever they're doing down there. Taking wrappers off baseballs, I think. They're going to let him work this out. Nobody is up.
The first pitch in there to the top of the lineup, Matt Carrera, is in for a strike. Just the 3rd walk of the year given up for Jake O'Connor. That one's chopped on the line, but foul over towards that Dragons bullpen. So now the count is quickly 0-2.
Connor Trudeau snagged that one backhanded barehand. Great play in the bullpen.
O'Connor gets his sign in, comes set. Delivers the 0-2. Outside, gets away from Jones behind the dish, but no movement on the base paths. Richards stayed at third as that ball trickled past Jones. It got about halfway to the backstop. And a slow read from Ryan Jones behind the plate still didn't insinuate a run from Dane Richards at third.
He thought about it, but...
So now the count is 1-2 as the pitch is right down Broadway for strike 3. Jake O'Connor picks up his third K of the season. And it keeps the score right where it's at. Glens Falls still leads 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. We're back here at East Field. Glens Falls still leads Oneonta 5-1 as we enter the bottom of the fourth. David Denton's back out there on the mound for his second full inning of work. He kept it clean. Went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. Now he faces off against 7, 8, and 9. Led off by Travis Stroh, who had a base knock his first time up. Takes a check swing there. They're going to see if he went around, and they're going to say he did.
Unlucky. For Stroh, I didn't think he went around. My opinion doesn't matter. So.
The count 0-1. A big cut from Stroh there now makes
Definitely
what could be a
went around
1-1 count, an 0-2 count. And that one's a breaking ball in there for strike 3. So 3 straight pitches results in the second K of the day for David Denton.
Yeah, Stroh knew that immediately. Just put his head down and walked back to the dugout. Knew immediately was up.
So now in steps Christian Moe. He drew a walk his first time up. Was on the bad half of a bad double play attempt, as that one is in there for a strike. The 0-1 bounced in the dirt. Denton so far today, 2 groundouts, 2 strikeouts, and a flyout in the 5 batters he faced. Throws a breaking ball, but it's below the zone.
Yeah, even though the bats have gone quiet the last couple innings, overall it's been an amazing game for Glens Falls.
Found a pitcher they could connect off of and did as much damage as possible. The 2-1, low for ball 3.
Which is exactly what you want to do, and if you're Glens Falls, you're kind of hoping that maybe Oneonta's got another one in the pen where you get a similar response to Dugan.
The 3-1 nips the bottom half. So the count is now full. 3-2 to Christian Moat. In the wings is the catcher, Ryan Jones. The payoff pitch, well outside. So ball four puts a runner on with one down here in the bottom of the fourth.
That pitch was in a different zip code from the strike zone.
Moat's second walk of the day puts him on again. A double play attempt on Ryan Jones. Got Moat at second, was not able to get Jones at first. One down here, similar situation. Moat dancing around there at first. They go check on him, but he gets back in safely. Moat again, just continuing to dance around. Fakes the run as the first pitch to Jones is in there for a strike.
Yeah, Moat, not a sedentary player when he's on the base path. A lot of movement.
Ryan Dio just pointed at Moat, pretty much telling him, it's on you. The 0-1, he didn't go, and Jones popped this one up into shallow center field. In comes a triangle of players, but it's corralled in by the second baseman, Connolly, for out number 2, as Moat stays at first.
Dan Richards came crashing in there, lost his hat at the very last second.
Carrera, Connolly, and Clark all came together in that sort of Bermuda's Triangle area in shallow center field, but Connolly called off the two guys that normally have precedent and brought it in for the second out.
Kind of saw a little bit of miscommunication there in a similar spot earlier.
They go to check on Moat at first. He stumbles and was slow to get back, but a failure to pick the ball from by Balich at first allows Moat to get back in safely.
That was almost bad news for Christian Moat, but Balich was crossed up there. Just lost the ball.
Again, Moat trying to continue to be shifty and move a ton as the first pitch to Michael Sweeney's upstairs.
You'll see Balich move with Moat, try to hold him off.
Moat is on the run this time. The hit and run hit down the line, but called foul. So Moat will have to work his way back to first. Count becomes 1-1. The 1-1. Bounced in the dirt, gets away from Wirtz behind the plate, and Moat easily grabs his extra 90 feet up to second. So now there's 2 outs with a runner in scoring position and Michael Sweeney at the plate. And a hitter's count, 2-1.
Big opportunity for Sweeney to gain another insurance run for Glens Falls.
Not often you get opportunities like this, let alone with a lead. Denton comes set, takes a check and delivers. The 2-1 is inside.
If we know anything about the PGCBL, not every lead is guaranteed, and a good game can turn sour really quickly, so any run is a good run.
And that one ran inside and actually nailed Michael Sweeney along the elbow. So the hit by pitch puts him on first. Now there's 2 runners on for Tyree Jackson. So far today, Jackson has got a single and a flyout, both of which were to that center field area. So he's got a good read as he pops that one fouling out of play.
Big spot for the new guy, too.
Pick up RBI number 1 here in 2025 for Glens Falls. As Jackson comes set with 2 runners on. The 0-1, he fouls that one off of Ian Wirtz behind the plate. So home plate umpire Aaron Bush, he'll go out and hand the ball directly to Denton, give Wirtz some time. The 2-1 is popped up out into left field. Rao moved in and then has to go back out. But he brings it in for out number 3. So the Dragons put a couple of pieces together but can't capitalize as they strand 2. There's no runs on, no hits, no errors, and 2 left on. We head to the top of the 5th with the Dragons still out in front, 5-1. We're back here at East Field alongside Luke LaRose. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. Glens Falls leads Oneonta 5-1 as we enter the top of the 5th inning. So far today, Glens Falls offense really attacking early on, and since then the pitching staff has been stellar. Xavier Garcia's day ended cleanly. Jake O'Connor had a little scare there in the bottom of the 4th, but has kept it clean so far as that one's hit on the ground and gets just past Christian Moat at second. So one pitch is a leadoff single to Brendan Connolly. He gets on and potentially starting the comeback for Oneonta as in steps the 3-hole hitter, Jack Clark.
So that, what you're talking about earlier with the bats and turning it over to the pitching staff, recipe for success for Glens Falls.
Team that is still looking for win number 1 here at Eastfield this season set themselves up in their prime opportunity. The first pitch to Clark is in there for a strike.
They're definitely well on their way if they can just keep Oneonta's bats cool.
Something a lot of teams have done this season. Oneonta near the bottom of the league in batting average as that one's chopped off foul to the left side. Now the count's quickly 0-2. O'Connor, again, a pitcher that is used to pitching for contact, is willing to let opposing hitters try to hit the ball, but get easy outs, force ground balls, or weak fly balls. The 0-2 to Clark is hit on the ground over to Moat at second. He brings it, flips it to Sweeney at short. The throw is on the transfer. He dropped it.
He is out at second, I believe.
So yes, Connolly is going to be out on second on the flip from Moat to Sweeney. But on the transfer, Sweeney couldn't deliver a throw over to first. So Clark reaches safely on the fielder's choice. Connolly is out at second, and everything else stays the same. So now there's one down here in the top of the 5th as it steps Ian Wirtz. The first pitch he sees, it's outside.
Seen a couple bobbled transfers from Glens Falls and Oneonta throughout the course of the night.
The 1-0 is popped up a mile high out into shallow right field. In comes the new guy, Tyree Jackson. He does what traditionally happens, calls off everybody, and he was covering some ground. Came from a couple steps shallow of direct center field, all the way pretty much to that infield grass area.
Yeah.
And
Jackson got on his horse and just went.
Traveled a long way to get out number 2. So in steps Zach Rowe. with a runner on first and 2 dead here in the top of the 5th. The first pitch to Rowe is fouled off into the bleacher seats on the left-hand side.
I'd say that erraticness, if you will, that lack of command that O'Connor had back last inning, kind of disappeared so far this inning. Been in much better command of the ball, finding the strike zone. Obviously, he's going to pepper the strike zone. He's a guy who pitches to contact.
The 0-1. That one's hit foul off to the left-hand side. This one a little bit closer to that Outlaws bullpen. We get set for the middle part of this game here at East Field. Another pretty important game is about to begin, Luke. It's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City is leading Indiana 3-2. Real quick before this O'Connor pitch, who you got?
I mean, I'd like to see OKC get it done. I know you're a fan.
Well, it doesn't matter who I'm a fan of, because Zach Rowe is fanning at pitches. He goes down swinging. And it's a big K for Jake O'Connor, his second of the day. And he leaves a runner stranded as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
I'm still mad at Indiana for knocking out Windex. So as long as they lose, I'm happy.
We're back at East Field. The Dragons got a chance at some more insurance as we enter the bottom of the 5th. Leading it off for the Dragons is going to be Trent Jenks. He's the extra hitter. There was a conversation there real quick between Ryan Dio, the home plate umpire, Aaron Bushy, and then the head coach
Keaton Mark
of the Oneonta Outlaws, Keaton Mark. So, interesting to see that conversation there.
It might have something to do with the giant gray cloud above us.
The weather here in Glens Falls has been very bipolar today. As Jenks' first pitch swing, and that one through the left side of the infield for a base knock. So first pitch, how about a single? And Trent Jenks' day is just getting so much better. So far, he's 3 for 3, 2 base knocks and a double. So he puts an early runner on as in steps Aiden Gallagher. Gallagher so far flown out and hit a single as he pops that one up out into the left center field gap. Nobody can see it, back at the wall, and that one's out of here. The left fielder, Rowe, couldn't see it. Clark could, and as he kept going back, the ball kept going right over the CWI sign. And Aiden Gallagher sends a 2-run blast out of here. And the Dragons now lead 7-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
That ball to me did not look like it was going out, but it carried and it carried and it carried. Went out. I kind of lost sight of it in the big, ominous gray cloud. Nonetheless, 7-1 ball game.
The first pitch to Andrew Gabriel is bounced in the dirt for ball 1. Second long ball of the day for Glens Falls. And yeah, that ball did not at all look like it had the ability to get out of here. As that one curves in
Yeah, that
for
ball
a strike.
did not have the pace to it that you would normally see out of a home run ball, but it went deep enough.
And that one's popped up. Foul out of play.
Kind of looked like a routine play, but the outfielders just kept going back, and before you know it, ball's out in left center.
The 1-2 is inside. Count evens at 2 apiece. The dimensions here at East Field, there are definitely some interesting ones.
It's about 310 down the left field line, 330 down right, and I cannot remember center field.
That one's fouled off straight back, so we'll redo the 3-2. Getting it pulled up here. But it's about 310 out there to left field, 330 down the poles, and then it's about 375 to dead center as that one's hit foul hard off to the right side, or the left side, excuse me.
I'd say.
But out there in WI sign, it gets a little bit deeper, probably honestly close to that 400-yard marker by the scoreboard. Say it's got to be around a good 360 to where that home run left for Aiden Gallagher.
Yeah, that ball went 350, 360-ish feet. There's a basketball court out in left center. It didn't quite make that. That ball bounced in the dirt. It's another ball. Runs the count full. Still nobody out.
The 3-2 pitch is in there for strike 3. So after giving up the long ball, David Denton comes back with a strikeout looking. His third so far today, and gets a big out number 1.
See a fan with an umbrella, some fans starting to put hoods up. I think rain's starting to come down here in East Field. Some fans just up and leaving.
That one hit weakly out towards the second baseman, Connolly, for the pop-up. That's the third time today Enrique Diaz has gotten out by the second baseman, Brendan Connolly. But either way, in steps up the big man, Nick Galello. He's first pitch swinging. That one's well out of play as well. You talk about a little bit of that rain coming down. Well, you can
More
see
than
it
a little
now.
bit now. But yeah, it's raining here.
It is definitely coming down.
A lot of people getting up, trying to find cover. Gonna try to at least get through this at bat if possible, I'd imagine.
It came out of nowhere, it did, as that one misses inside, so the count's going to even at 1 apiece. And just like that, they're going to call it. So they're going to tarp this field, see if we can wait it out. We're going to step aside, see if we can get any updates from anybody. Because these Dragons, they still want to play this game. The quicker they get it tarped, the more likely they could. So we'll step aside for a little bit, but we'll make sure we come back with an update as soon as possible.
These are journalism skills.
Well, that was quick work here in Glens Falls. We're back with action here at Eastfield. The Glens Falls Dragons lead the Oneonta Outlaws 7-1 here in the bottom of the fifth. So far, that rain delay took a lot quicker than we thought. It came down pretty hard, pretty quick, and cleared up nice and easily. As Nick Galello sends another shot, but this one will settle in easily by the left fielder, Zach Rowe.
That'll end the inning.
That'll make it a quick inning after the rain delay as we head to the top of the sixth. But it's not before the Dragons add two more thanks to Naden Gallagher, a long ball. They are pummeling it on. The offense is cruising here at East Field, and they look to continue the damage heading into the sixth. We're back at East Field after a brief rain delay. Pause the action between the Dragons and the Outlaws. Glens Falls still leads though, 7-1. Big thanks to an extra two from Naden Gallagher. His long ball went quite a long ways and helped really push this Dragon squad into a comfortable 6-run lead. That long ball, by the way, first of the year for Naden Gallagher. Either way, Jake O'Connor, the pitcher for the Dragons, his day, it's done. An inning and a third. He gave up just 2 hits, no runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2. So, nice efficient day from Jake O'Connor. Taking his spot is Ethan Nardacci, who got a start down in Saugerties about a week and a half ago, has appeared in another game since then. And it has not been the cleanest work for him. Has given up 3 runs in those 4 innings to result in a 6.75 ERA. Walked 3 batters, struck out 3. So a little bit of a mix mash between them all. And opponents, they're hitting 267 off of him so far in 2025. He gets set, and the first batter that he's got to face is Jamison Balich, who fouls that pitch off towards the Dragons dugout.
And this type of game with a 6-run lead, definitely a good way to just get his feet wet back into pitching, get some confidence back. Oneonta's really struggled to put anything together, so they're definitely going to use this as a bit of a learning experience. That ball is a strike right down the middle.
So now the count is 0-2 for Ethan Nardacci, working quickly out of the pen. The 0-2 is in there for strike 3. First batter that Nardacci sees sends him down with ease. It's strikeout number 1 and out number 1 here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, definitely a good way to get your confidence back. Just mow down a guy with 3 straight Ks.
So now in steps the right fielder, Dane Richards. He's 1 for 2 on the day. with a single, came around, ended up on third, but couldn't find his way home. The 1-0 chopped on the ground. Nardacci almost grabs it. Moat plays an excellent diving play, but couldn't get the throw off.
Just a long run from Moat, dives out, extends, slides on that wet grass. Nothing for him to do.
Excellent play there, but the base knock from Dane Richards, his second of the day, puts a runner on first with one down, and Thomas Woodridge at the plate. Woodridge also 1 for 2 on the day. He's got a base knock, but then was picked off over at first back in that second inning. They're a check on Richards over there at first. He gets back in safely. Nardacci delivers the first pitch, breaking ball, gets away from Jones, but he keeps it in front of him to keep Richards at first. The 1-0 outside for ball 2.
Nardacci's kind of got a big extended arm movement, uses every inch of his 6'3" frame. She gets way out wide, almost a side armor.
The 2-0 is fouled off along the cage lines just outside of the Outlaws dugout. Definitely does release it in that 3/4 slot.
Not quite a side arm, but almost there. Full arm extension, not from over the top. Really fools a righty, but might be a little bit easier for a lefty to see that.
A little bit taller.
Yeah, he stands at 6'3", 195.
That one's chopped on the ground over to Moat at second. Flips to the shortstop Sweeney. Bounced over to Galello at first, but it gets past him. Luckily, they got the force out. So we'll add one more out to the scoreboard as nothing changes. Woodridge reaches on the fielder's choice. And now there's 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Sweeney slipped a little bit over there at second base on the throw. His feet pretty much came out from underneath him.
Yeah, at East Field, they don't have a tarp that covers the whole infield dirt, just really the mound and one on home plate. So the infield track, a little slippery right now.
In steps Hugo Coners as that ball gets well by Jones, and Woodridge will take his time getting up to second. So the wild pitch allows Thomas Woodridge to put himself in scoring position with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. And Oneonta having been held scoreless since that first inning. The 1-0. Low for ball 2.
Yeah, these Glens Falls pitchers have been on top of it. Part of it is just probably due to just how bad these Oneonta bats were, hitting 194 entering this game.
Done a good job at stranding bases as well, as that one's hit out of play for strike 1. Today, they've left a total of 8 runners stranded on base. Nardacci's trying to make it 9. He works himself to a 2-1 count with Woodridge on second. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. Dachi does a good job at putting that one outside.
Yeah, definitely big, kind of sweeping breaking ball, just dodging out of the bat path.
So now there's deuces wild here in the top of the 6th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second. The pitch is in there for strike 3. Nardacci gets his second strikeout looking of the inning. It keeps the score exactly where it is. It's Glens Falls 7, Oneonta 1. We're back at East Field, where the Dragons look to add some more. They lead 7-1 heading to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It'll be the bottom half of this Dragons lineup. Travis Schroe, Christian Moat, and Ryan Jones.
We're going to have all of the coaches and both
Conversation.
umpires down the third baseline having a little chat.
Conversation. Can't imagine what this is about. Although the weather thought could have been an issue, it doesn't appear like it is. But then maybe the concern is regarding the slippery nature of the infield and the grass. You saw Christian Moat make an excellent play where he slid, but a large part of that was due to the fact that he had pretty much a slip and slide out there. And then Michael Sweeney had his feet come out from underneath him trying to attempt a double play. So right now we've got head coach Ryan Dio. We've got both umpires, Aaron Bushy and Dave Hotzler. And then the head coach
and the assistant coach of Oneonta.
All out there having a conversation in the
draft.
The Outlaws are coming off the field. Now, here in the PGCBL, after 5 innings, the game can be called.
And it's appearing like that might be the case.
The umpires walking off the field.
That looks like they're going over to have a chat with Glens Falls.
Dragons bullpen is coming in. They're corralling. Either way, right now, as it stands, this is going to go down as a win. This is not a game that will get continued later or a game that would get picked up. This is considered...
If they are calling it, which is the question.
This right now is considered a Dragons win, and it would be the first win here at Eastfield all season long. So we're waiting for official word because
nothing happened yet.
Potentially a lightning or a thunder concern as well. Didn't see anything from our viewpoint, but again, only half of the field's visible. So anything behind us very well could have been seen or heard.
We are in a thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. They could just wait it out for the next 9 minutes. No clue. No rush for the umps to get off the field.
Either way, we'll step aside here for a couple of minutes. We'll make sure we go check on with what's going on downstairs. But when we get a word, we'll make sure we come back up here and inform you all. But either way, right now, Glens Falls, they've got a lead and they're headed towards win number 1 here at home in 2025. we're back here at Eastfield, and as you can see, still nobody out on the field, and there is a reason for that. Just behind us to the left of our broadcast booth, there's been quite a bit of lightning, and by quite a bit, it's been pretty much consistent over the last 2 or 3 minutes, going off every 2 or 3 minutes or so, another bolt of lightning that's been flashing. So the current lightning delay means that this game will be postponed for a minimum of 30 minutes. And every time there's a lightning strike, that number resets. Traditionally, the rule is seen that if there is 2 different lightning strikes within 2 different 30-minute periods, the game is therefore to be called and postponed. However, in today's contest, because we have reached that 5-run marker, this game would be over and Glens Falls would pick up win number 1 here at Eastfield, Luke. So, not the way that you want to win the first game, but for Glens Falls to have so much success as they've had today, kind of a positive to know at least you were leading this one and you earned it.
Even in just a little over half of a game, a lot of positives for them, but kind of a cheap way to win.
Definitely not the way that you would like to win your baseball game, but that doesn't change the fact that currently the rain delay means we just stand here and we wait until we get an official ruling from either the home plate umpires or the head coaches. On the mound, you can see player and assistant coach for the Dragons. So we'll see if that conversation continues and what the conversation is like down at the dugout. See if we get official word. But currently we are in a lightning delay, and we will be for about the next half an hour. So don't go anywhere. We'll still be live, and as soon as this game gets decided on whether or not we will continue or get canceled, we'll make sure to let you know and keep you informed. But we don't want you going anywhere because this one was just getting good. It felt like the Dragons were about to pour it on really offensively. But, I mean, you want to talk about offense. How about 7 hits that they've got, just the attacking in general? They've been really solid today. 9 hits that they've had. They've been really solid today. And for an offense that, again, had 3 hits a game 2 games ago, 1 hit last game where they were shut out by this Oneonta squad, no runs. Tough performance after tough performance after a week where they really could have been 5-0, instead left 2-3. Glens Falls seems like they're knocking on the door, Luke.
Knocking on the door. Hopefully this rain delay does not put them in a funk. It's not even a rain delay, it's a lightning delay. Hopefully this extended delay doesn't put them in a funk. They can go out and deliver if, and I mean if, they can play tonight.
An opportunity to really just change their season.
Yeah.
It seems like now is the make or break moment, because not just is today's game important, but you're talking about the fact that the next 5 contests the Dragons play, they're played here at Eastfield. So to have your next 5 games, 6 games in total played here, this is your opportunity to become comfortable. There's no more road trips. There's no more getting up early to have to drive down or taking a 2-hour drive and then playing baseball. You get to wake up in your own bed. You get to turn around, get to the field early, take some extra batting practice or ground balls. This is where you can settle in. And if you're this Dragons team that feels like they're just there, that could push them over.
This can push them over the hump, and truly, this lightning delay might be the toughest thing that they have to endure during that next 5-6 game stretch. So they definitely, I mean, they're out there playing hacky sack right now. Even the coaches are joining in. They're trying to stay loose, trying to stay active. I mean, there's nothing to say. Aaron Bushy just made a signal with his hand. Could have just been him moving his arm around. No word yet from anybody. Dragons staying loose. Oneonta staying loose.
Both teams trying to have some fun as we await an official decision. So we'll step aside again for a little bit. Try to join you before the delay is over, either with an answer or we're continuing playing baseball here at Eastfield. Either way, you won't want to go anywhere. Make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook, our new YouTube page. If you haven't already, go subscribe at Glens Falls Dragons. We're live there right now. The profile that's live, that's the one you'll want to subscribe. You can always find us. We'll do a couple of road games as well, so make sure you're tuned in over there. But we'll get you an answer hopefully within the next 15 or 20 minutes And so we can either play baseball here at East Field or the Dragons pick up win number 1 at home in 2025. Well, how about that? Not all too long later, we join you back here at East Field, and that's because if you're a fan of the Glens Falls Dragons, we bring nothing but good news. The rain delay, the lightning delay, it has been continued, and the home plate umpires have seen enough. They say it is not safe to continue this contest no more, which means because the game is past inning number 5, the Glens Falls Dragons, they beat the Oneonta Outlaws 7-1 and pick up their first win in 2025.
That is a huge deal. Obviously, like I said, kind of a cheap way to win, but a win nonetheless.
Not a complete day of baseball for this Dragons squad, a team that had the potential and it showed like they were going to be able to get it done. They just had to finish through those last couple of frames. The bottom of the 6th, and then 7, 8, and the top half of 9. Either way, though, it doesn't mean that it's all bad news. It means Glens Falls is back in the win column. They learned to win again here at East Field, and now the goal becomes, can they do it tomorrow when they host another team here at home, a part of this big home stretch?
We'll be there tomorrow night to have it for you when
you've got
Mohawk
Valley comes into town in a tough contest. Mohawk Valley has proven to be pretty brutal against this Glens Falls Dragons squad, and so they've got to do everything they can to pick up a win. Apologize, there is a road contest in there. They take on Boonville on Saturday, but then there's that day off before 4 straight at home. So Mohawk Valley could be another big win that turns into some momentum really going the Dragons' way as we enter the latter half of June. Luke, a complete win despite not a complete game.
I mean,
and overall, nothing you can complain about if you're Glens
nothing you
Falls.
can complain. Had the home runs, you had the pitching, you had the hits, you had the at-bats, you had the defense. Crucially, no errors. They just turned the scoreboard off. But, I mean, a solid, complete, full game for Glens Falls.
Did everything you needed to do to see success, and that means Glens Falls picks up win number 1 here at East Field in 2025. From our entire staff here with the Glens Falls Dragons, Luke LaRose, I've been Nathaniel Cunningham. Glens Falls, have a grateful evening.